On this episode of the Geek Junkie podcast, we say goodbye to a dear old friend, talk about our adventures at Comic-Con, learn about some new warriors coming to TV, and relive an old foe coming back to the DCEU. All this and more on this episode of the Geek Junkie podcast.
Bird! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Geek Junkie Podcast, Episode 4. I'm your host, Corey, and I'm joined, as always, by my brother and sci-fi aficionado, Scott.
Howdy.
And everyone's friendly neighborhood geek, Mr. Rogers. Dallin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm tired. Very tired.
Yeah.
We're all very
Exhausted.
tired. Mhm.
Yeah.
Tired.
It's been...
This is going to be the Sleepy Time podcast
Exactly.
with Scott, Corey, and Dallin.
Welcome to NPR.
Yes. And now, the sweet sounds of us talking about the departing of a dear actor. Gene Wilder has died.
84?
83.
Right? 83.
Mhm. And it's really sad.
When did he pass away? It was
So it was Tuesday, I believe, that he passed away.
Tuesday the...
Date. Insert date.
The 31st, I believe. Yeah, somebody will look that up while we're talking about it. But
30th. Would have been the
30th.
30th. Yeah.
Gene Wilder played Willy Wonka in the first Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Is it Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that's the one that he's in? Or is it Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Yeah.
because Willy Wonka is the Johnny Depp.
Yeah, because they
version.
wanted to focus more on Johnny Depp than they did on...
Yeah.
You
and
know, the kid, the
his
actual
weird
story.
teeth.
Yeah. Is that what they did?
Yeah, do you remember, like,
I
that was
don't.
a big chunk, like, his dad was a dentist. And
Oh, yeah, like they really explored
it was
his
Christopher Lee,
childhood.
like
Yes.
the person with one of the worst smiles ever.
Exactly, being a dentist.
Being a dentist.
I honestly, I have no recollection of that.
Really?
You don't remember that?
I actually
That was the whole reason his dad never let him eat candy. That was the whole reason he went and started a chocolate factory.
I'll have
or
to go
candy
back and
factory.
watch.
I honestly,
But
it's okay.
back
if you
to Gene
haven't
Wilder.
Seen, yeah.
Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory. That was
He was
actually
in-
the only movie I have ever seen with
Really?
him in it right now.
So he's in Young Frankenstein. He did a lot of work with Mel Brooks in that and Blazing Saddles.
We'll get to see him every time we go to the movie theater. They do their little clip show at the beginning of whatever
and he
movie.
goes, "It's alive."
Yeah,
It's really sad to see him go. He retired from doing any acting years ago, but he really was kind of an iconic comedy figure. And I really didn't discover him until I started dating my wife, because she watches all these old movies that I don't ever watch. And so, yeah, he's going to be missed. And I mean, honestly,
2016, the year everyone died in Hollywood.
Yeah.
it really has been
Cursed
kind of a
year.
terrible
Much.
year.
Don't take Patrick Stewart, please.
Why would you say something like that? You know that anything we say on this podcast comes true.
We're gonna get 1 million listeners.
Except for that.
We predicted the future.
It's true, yeah. Well, I mean, you can pretty much say anything and then go back and say, we predicted this. So let's see. One day, we won't have a Marvel movie in a year. In a single year.
That'll be a sad day.
It will be a sad day.
It'll be a sad year, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Nope, just for the one day. Everybody
we'll get
forget.
over it really quick.
Exactly.
Yeah, because at that point, like, DC will be big or something.
Let's hope. Yeah.
So, as sad as Gene Wilder's death is, he was 83. I mean, it wasn't like it was unexpected, like some random.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, but I remember reading that he wasn't doing super well. Like, the last few years, he's been declining in health pretty badly.
And that's really sad to say, to be like, oh, it's not sad that it was expected, but it's just kind of like it is. That happens.
Well,
People.
what it is.
You get old.
Yeah, that's
Death
exactly
is a part
what
of
happens.
life.
That's the last part of life, actually.
Or the beginning of something else.
Who knows?
Maybe.
we don't
don't know.
discuss that type of stuff on the podcast, though.
You're gonna catch him on one of your ghost hunts.
No.
You're gonna get him on recording.
Nah, I don't know. Well, that's a different. We'll do that on Halloween. We'll talk about that on Halloween.
Oh yeah, let's save that for the spooky special, guys.
There we go.
It is Today is September 3rd.
It is the September 3.
It shows you how well I am in the world. And we have all just been to Salt Lake Comic-Con, their 4th annual official Salt Lake Comic-Con, not their Fan X, because if you wanted to count that, then they're up to, 9 now? 8 or 9?
Yeah, something. 2, 3, 4. Because they did it in between, so somewhere between 7 and 9.
Yeah, I think... So 8. We'll just
say 8.
Yep. But we all just came back from it after spending. We only went the one day and everything, and I wanted to know what you guys thought. Like, how was it for you?
I had a good time.
Yeah,
it was fun. I kind of switched it up this year. I went to a panel that I normally probably wouldn't have gone to.
Yeah.
Normally I just go look at all the merchandise, but it seems like that's been kind of the same since Comic-Con year 1.
It was also very lackluster this year.
Yeah, there wasn't quite as many.
Less, and like you said, it was just there's not much new. It was all stuff that we had seen.
Yeah, it's T-shirts and pop vinyls.
Yep, everybody had fun. The thing that they did have a lot of this year that they didn't in previous years is a lot of those mystery boxes. I don't know if you saw those.
I did see that
wandering around, but there were like 5 booths selling. Hey, you get a mystery box for $40, and it comes with like at least 5 Funko Pops and $100 value worth of stuff. And then there's other ones that were like you can get a signed print, you can get some art, some. Drawing, there's some illustration cells and everything. It's just that was like the only new thing that there really was, and it felt like a lot of the people who had gone there in years past and shown these really cool, like the people who did the 3D printed sculptures of your hero with your face on it or whatever, things like that. They weren't there this year, and I think that was partially because it's getting a little expensive to run a booth there.
We've talked to a couple business owners and asked them if they were going to have booths, and they said no. It's like $4,800 for a booth, and I'm like, holy cow.
I was there on Wednesday helping a client that I won't name. I don't know if I can name.
I mean, it's up to you if you want to name. I mean,
I don't know if I can. So, anyways, client we have from our day job, helping them set up, and they wanted to get Wi-Fi for their booth, and it was like $1,600 a day
for Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
holy crap!
And if you wanted like a phone line, it was like $250 a day. And then if you wanted to rent
is that Comic-Con rates or was that Salt Palace rates?
Probably Salt Palace. I'm not sure, but the rates that they would have had to pay regardless. To rent a forklift for like 90 minutes was like $20,000 or something like that.
20 grand, 20 grand for 90 minutes for that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so they really rob them blind out there.
I mean, and obviously that drives prices up for everything that they sell, and it drives prices up for everything that you purchase ticket wise too. Because the people who run it, which we won't name them, but we don't really like them anymore, they kind of tend to keep raising these prices
every year.
by con.
It started out $20?
Yeah, exactly.
$20 a ticket, and then it was $30 a ticket, and then it was $35,
which,
and now it's $40.
I understand that conventions are supposed to be expensive, but if you're paying $40, $45 for a ticket for one day, you want to expect to have that day be full of wonder and magic, and it really kind of just didn't feel that good to me this year.
I was very disappointed, personally. Again, there weren't really any new art stuff coming in. In fact, that's my favorite part is Artist Alley, and they were like half of what they normally are, size-wise. And it was pretty crazy to see there were so many people not there, and I think it's because it's so dang expensive.
There was a lot of sketch artists there that weren't getting any activity either.
Yeah. What else? I had some other things. There was just a lot of like the homegrown stuff around. It's no longer there. It was all starting to be more company stuff, which sometimes I'm okay with, but most of the time I'd rather see like what someone has created, what they've gone and done themselves.
Hey, I carved all these. This is my entire stock on this table.
Yeah,
look over it and everything.
The people that run it. I'm not a businessman, but go back to what it was year one. Go back to the $900 or $1,000 to rent the booth for the whole 3 days.
Yep.
You know, you get your space. That's more than enough for you to make money, because Salt Palace, it costs money to rent it out for sure, but not that much.
Yeah.
Not for that many booth spaces. You know, I don't know. I'm going to go leave a review on their website and kind of tell them how I feel about it. And I don't feel like I want to go back next year.
Yeah. I think they'll never be able to recapture year one.
No.
Because there was so much pent up, such a desire for it that it was overloaded, and now it's kind of mellowed out a little bit.
The crowds were a lot smaller. We were surprised about half of what it was last year.
We went in. We drove up to Scott's work, and then we got on to which is right by the track station, and we got on to what was it? Just the tracks? Is that what it's just called?
Just tracks.
I don't know Salt Lake
Tracks line.
And we got up there, and we were going there, and Scott's like, I haven't seen any cosplayers yet.
Yeah, I didn't see
like
any.
It took us basically to get to the convention center before we saw people in costume heading towards it. It's like everybody was...
The first and second year, the big train that runs along the valley was always full.
Yep.
Every single one was full, back and forth. Tracks was always full, back and forth to the convention center. And there were always just tons of people cosplay and, whatever, carrying things back and forth. It seemed like a standard Saturday in Salt Lake, you know?
But it wasn't all bad. I mean, you bought something. You bought
I bought a couple things that I saw that one thing I haven't been able to find. It was it's a pretty cool like metal kit. They come flat and you just bend them all to put them together, little models.
Yeah, and you got a Enterprise D, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And a couple other things that they're not super rare, but they were there, so I said, I'll grab them. But I didn't go for any art. So.
You caught like their Pokemon.
Yeah.
You bought a couple things too.
Yeah, I got some
that shirt you're wearing, right?
Yeah, the shirt I'm wearing, Star Labs. Got some Pop Funkos. I was able to find The Crow. If you ever seen the horror movie The Crow, they had a pop vinyl for that, so that was really cool.
That's actually pretty awesome.
So I snagged that one. And then my wife's collecting, they have like the Friends collection.
Yeah.
So she just needed the last two that she didn't have. We were able to find there.
Now you just need to make her like a panoramic fountain for Christmas
right,
that she can put all the pops in.
Give them little umbrellas.
Yep.
And...
Pushes a little button and starts playing the theme song.
Yep, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, you have to clap that many times.
Yep. I didn't actually purchase anything. I saw a lot of stuff there that really kind of tickled my fancy, but nothing like at the end of the day, because I made a decision that I wasn't going to buy anything until I was done examining the floor.
Right.
And by the time I was done examining the floor, nothing that I had seen made me want to go back and get it. Like, there wasn't anything that I was, like, super antsy to get back to. Yeah.
Oh, so. I have one thing. I'm going to call out Mr. Metal plate art vendor saying, well, you better buy them because we only made 50 of them.
They're
limited edition. Mm-hmm. Guess what, buddy? I bought them from you last year.
The exact same ones.
Ones. Yeah. So they're not limited edition. And they're not only 50.
I think that right there is the problem with Artist Alley this year is it was a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Like for the people who did show up again, it's like, oh, these are just the same pictures I saw last year. And guess what? I got everything I wanted last year.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that I regretted not getting.
There was nothing new.
Wise.
Like I looked and I was looking for. There was a few new, Overwatch and stuff like that, but that was it. And
didn't have any Reinhardt stuff.
Yeah, no Reinhardt stuff.
This is how I know it wasn't a crowded con. So my wife and I were walking around. We're tired. Let's go to a panel. We normally don't go to the panels. We pull up our little booklet and we look and see Lenny James, who's Morgan on The Walking Dead, has a panel in 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We're like, well, we're probably not going to go. We're not going to get in. It's going to fill up. But, people have been waiting in hours. Let's go check it out. We walked right in, sat in the back. We didn't have to.
Was there still space left when you got in there?
Plenty of space. So I'm like, that's how I know this con wasn't crowded. Because if it was year one, I wouldn't have gotten in 5 minutes before.
We went to a couple panels on year one and waited in line for 45 minutes.
Yeah, we made it to the Stan Lee panel.
Barely made it in.
Yeah.
That was year two, I think, was Stan Lee.
No, it was year one.
Was it year one? Yeah, we barely made it in. We were right near the back. But yeah, I mean...
I actually... that was the year I tried to get some of the Geek Show podcasts to sign my Justice League #1.
Oh, there you go.
And they finish up their episode, and I wanted to wait till the end so I could run up to him and pull out the comic book, and by the time I got there, half of them were already gone. So I only got like half their signatures. But I think overall, we're going to move on from this because we've already spent enough time. Yeah. Overall, I think what they need to do is they need to kind of decide if they're going